So in English literature, you have to write essays. So I want to spend the next few videos helping you through how to structure and plan your essay. So we always have an essay question. Let's imagine our question is, to what extent is Macbeth presented as a sympathetic character? So the first thing to do is just give a little bit of thought to that question. Questions will be worded very specifically. The thing we want to think about here is the part where it says to what extent. What that's inviting us to do is to evaluate, to consider both sides. If it said, how is Macbeth presented as a sympathetic character? That's a different question. You're going to then spend the time proving how he is presented as a sympathetic character, but that isn't what this says. It says to what extent. So it's asking us to think, maybe to some extent he is, but perhaps he's not entirely. So bear that in mind first, give some time to the question, and just reflect on what sympathetic character means. It doesn't mean, does he show sympathy? It means as a reader, do we feel sympathy for him as a character? So we've got our head around the question now, and now the next thing that we want to do is brainstorm. Because I don't know the answer to this straight away. We have to craft our answer, so we have to think about it. So initially I would just brainstorm, just put all your ideas down in a big fat mess. Don't worry about the order, don't worry about anything. You're just trying to stimulate a flow of thought. So I would scribble down all sorts of things. I won't write it now, but I'd probably do times I do feel sympathy for him, times I don't feel sympathy for him, and I'd just kind of jot my ideas down. So, for example, in a quick brainstorm, I'd say things like, well, the beginning, I do feel sympathy for him because he seems to have morals. He comes up with a logical argument of why he doesn't want to kill Duncan. So although he is ambitious, he does want to become king, he doesn't want to kill someone. He doesn't want to he doesn't want to commit regicide and do something that's wrong. So I respect that. I start feeling sympathy for him when Lady Macbeth manipulates him and bullies him and questions his manhood to force him to do what he doesn't want to do. Then, of course, you've got the witches also tricking him and influencing him. This creates sympathy in me. I feel sorry for him because he's trying to do the right thing. All the odds are against him. I've got all this in my brainstorm, yeah? I've scribbled it all down. Now then I keep thinking, what happens as the play goes on? Well, actually, later on in the play, I stop feeling sympathy for him at some point. I stop feeling sympathy when he decides to kill his best friend for no reason other than he's worried that his son's going to become king. I don't feel sympathy for him once he kills Macduff's wife and children and innocent people around him. So at that point, I lose sympathy for him. Okay, this was all in my brainstorm, yeah? It's just me generating my ideas, throwing it all down. At that point then, on my page, I've just got a big fat mess of ideas, but I do know the starting point for how I want to answer this question. Then I would go on to a detailed plan. I'm going to show you how to do that in the next video.